welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be giving you 5 tips for Weight Watchers success. Now I am going back to the basics, and that's where these tips are coming from. These are my own personal tips that I used way back in the day to be very successful on Weight Watchers. If you guys have been watching me for a while, you know I've had a lot of ups and downs in the last 4 or 5 years or so. When I first started Weight Watchers, I did really well, and I was just sticking to the program. And that was when it was Smart Points. So just the original Smart Points, when it just actually switched over to Smart Points was when I started Weight Watchers. Did really well in those 2 years, and then they changed over to Freestyle, and I did okay, not the best. That's when I kind of started dabbling in Simply Filling and things like that. And then I quit Weight Watchers right when the color programs were coming out. So I never ever did the blue, green, purple, whatever they were. Was that all of them? I don't know. Anyway, I never did any of those. I was doing keto and low carb, and then after that I started just counting calories and macros, which I also did back before Weight Watchers. I did macros and calories. But I really honestly felt my best and felt like I had the most success and the most control over my journey when I was on Weight Watchers. And I decided, as you guys know from all my videos this year so far and end of last year, my goals I talked about, I am just going back to the basics. I am going to really give it all right now to Weight Watchers, since they kind of went back to apparently what is like Freestyle and the blue plan, what people are saying. I am just going to give it all. Give it my all, I should say. And so I started thinking back at what helped me the most. What did I do to be so successful back then? And I think it's because I was so brand new to the program. Never ever really knew anything about it at all. So brand new to it that I just did it and just did my thing. So that's what I'm doing. And so right now I'm just only tracking Weight Watchers, and that's it. We'll talk about that in my tips here. So I came up with 5 things. 5 things that I felt like that I was not doing very well these last couple of years, that could have been why kind of like my weight loss has just been really honestly like doing this. As my friend Barrett says in her videos all the time, she is so right. Like, so many of us have been doing this, and it is so, it's just almost exactly what it would feel like on a roller coaster. I've never been on a roller coaster. Okay, so if you're riding this, that's what it feels like. I feel like my head has just not been in the game. I have been feeling confused. I've been feeling like I've been spinning around in circles, basically. I need to clear my head. And by doing that, I really had to dig deep and kind of look back at what have I been missing? What have I not been doing well in my program? So these are the 5 things that I came up with. I have my notes here. As you guys know, I have old person brain, and sometimes I forget, I lose my train of thought. So let's go into tip number 1. Simple tracking and pre-tracking. So what this is, to me, this is of course all in accordance to me and my opinion on it. First, let's start with pre-tracking. I used to pre-track my entire day, if not my week, if I knew what I was going to be eating. Like if I knew what I was going to have for lunch every day, really the basics, the breakfast and maybe like dinners. And then lunches, I usually had a couple different options. So I would always have my breakfast pre-tracked for almost the entire week. Always have my dinners pretty much pre-tracked for the entire week because I stuck to a meal plan. And then my lunches I would fill in, and then I would kind of know what I had left for snacks. And that's how I built my day. So I kind of got away from that, like completely got away from the pre-tracking. And then simple tracking, to me, that's really just tracking Weight Watchers. So as you guys know, I did double tracking for a very long time. And honestly, like it was not good for me. Like it wasn't hard. It wasn't difficult. It was easy as far as scanning, because I just scanned everything. So it was pretty easy in that sense. But it got to me having to kind of look at 2 different apps. It got to me trying to figure like, hey, what do I need to do? Should I be following the Weight Watchers? Should I be making sure I have this in? Should I make sure I have that in? It was just confusing me, and it was, I think, causing me to just not care as much. So I want to go back to just simple tracking, and that's just tracking in WW app. That's it. I'm just going to track Weight Watchers. Now, I am going to keep an eye on my protein. As you guys know, I am very much a proponent for getting enough protein in. It keeps you full. So I am going to keep an eye on my protein, and maybe either just, I may track that in my Lose It app, or I may just jot it down on my calendar that I have, or like in my phone or something. But I am going to kind of keep a really good eye on my protein. And most things, it's really easy to kind of add it up anyway, and to kind of know, because I kind of have a goal each day to have at least at my meals to try to hit like 30 grams of protein in each of my main meals, my breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and then fill in the rest with my snacks. So I kind of will have a pretty good idea of what my protein number is, but I'm just going to go back to simple tracking and pre-tracking. Tip number 2, back to the basics, food. So what again this means for me is I need to just go back to the foods I like to eat, the foods that make my body feel good, the things that I know work for my body. I just need to go back to the basics. I feel like it's so easy to get caught up on watching all these people on Instagram and YouTube. I mean, of course, I make these YouTube videos with grocery hauls, and they're some of my favorite videos to watch. And it is so easy for me to get caught up in all this stuff, and I'm like, oh, look what they found. Oh, look what they found. I'm gonna get that. I'm gonna get that. I'm gonna get that. And then I have all this stuff, and then I'm just I want to try it all at once, and it just starts kind of overpowering my entire refrigerator, my pantry, my freezer. And then I just feel like I'm getting lost. Like all my basic foods are just getting lost in the mix. And then again, that's where I feel like I slip up really easily. So I love to try new foods. I have no issue with that, and I'm not going to stop trying new foods. I'm just going to limit those. So if I find like some sort of new food find during the week, there's like ones that I'm going to make a list. So instead of picking them all up in one week, I'm just going to make a list of some things I want to look out for. How could I fit these in a main meal plan or into my, daily snacks? What can I do? So that's what I'm going to start doing, is just kind of keeping a running list of things that I may see on YouTube videos, and just pick them up, sporadically throughout the month, instead of doing it all at one time. And like I said, it just starts to overwhelm me. Again, the same with recipes. Y'all know I love to experiment with food, and I love to do new recipes. And the thing, again, I get caught up in doing 2, 3, 4 brand new recipes every single week. And then again, all my stuff that I know works for me. Like you guys know, I made that taco soup last week. That was such an amazing meal to have. So easy. It was quick to throw together. It's a cheap meal. It's a filling meal. It's a really super low point meal. And it kept me satisfied. And the thing is, those kind of things just get kind of set aside when all these other new things come out. However, again, saying that, just like with the new food finds, I am not going to give up on making new recipes because I love it too much. Like makes me happy in the kitchen to experiment and find new things. But I am going to limit it. So again, I'm going to try not to do more than one brand new recipe a week, or maybe even limit it to 2 or 3 a month. But I am going to limit that and really kind of go back to my basic foods that I love to make and I love to eat. So like this week, I'm going to make chili. I love making chili. I make it really chunky with lots of veggies in it. And it's just, again, such a good, satisfying meal, especially right now when it's rainy and cold. And I just want to go back to my food basics. So in your journey, whether it's Weight Watchers, keto, low carb, counting calories or macros, look back when you were doing so well in your journey. Like if you are like me, where you've kind of the last couple of years have not been doing the best, look back at yourself and look back at what were you doing when you were doing really well, and look back at what you were eating. Those are your back to the basic foods. So that's what my plan is here on out. Number 3, water. So I know this is a simple one. The thing is, again, way back then, I had 0 issues getting my water in. I drink a ton of water. I loved water. That was my first drink of the day. That was what I ended my day with. I didn't have to force myself to do it. I didn't have to make it a challenge for myself. but I have completely, again, got caught up with new things. So there's all these sparkling waters out there that were not really around, at least not in my area, as heavily as they are now. So it's just like I'm picking those up. All these new zero sugar diet sodas, which I am not going to give those up. But again, water, I just need to get focused on my water, because I know when I was drinking a ton of water, my skin felt different, my body felt different, I felt lighter just naturally. I didn't feel thirsty all the time. Like, I am constantly feeling thirsty, and I know it's because I'm not getting my water in. I just crave it right now, but for some reason that's not my first choice anymore. And so I want to go back to the basics where I am drinking 100 to 120 ounces of water every day without even thinking about it. I don't want it to have to be a challenge for me. One of these days I want to be able to not have it as part of one of my monthly goals to get my water goal in, because I know that it's a given. Number 4, don't skip meals. And for me, this is really more over on the weekends. So here has always been my pattern. With me and my husband working Monday through Friday, but right now his schedule has changed. So this actually may be helpful to me now that his schedule has changed. But before, Monday through Friday, and I would do great. I would do really good because I had a meal plan. I had a schedule. Then what would happen is on the weekends, I just kind of, we just do whatever. We're running errands, we're doing stuff around the house, we're out and about, I'm doing grocery shopping. I am not, eating breakfast, lunch, and dinner and snacks on Saturdays because of just being so busy. Then on Sundays, I'm meal prepping, I'm cleaning the house, I'm doing all these things. And again, it's just kind of falling away where I'm not eating, I'm just skipping meals. So I'm just eating like one big meal. It's usually dinner, and it's not usually the best choice because I'm starving by then. But again, I'm not getting all my protein in. I'm not getting those healthy fats, and I'm not getting any fruits and vegetables in. It's just, I am not getting hardly anything in, which is not good for your body as well. So now with my husband working Wednesday through Saturday, I'm hoping this will help on my weekends, because I will be still busy on Saturdays, but it's not going to be the same where, I'll be home and I'll be by myself. So it's like once I get my things done, I don't have a bunch of errands to do with him, and we're not going to be out and about as much. So I feel like if I'm home more, I'm going to eat my breakfast, lunch, and dinner and my snacks. And then again on Sunday, I'll just be doing my meal prepping, but I'm planning on getting all my housework done, everything done on Saturday that I normally would do on Sunday. So then that way when he's home, then, I can make us breakfast and lunch, and then we can have dinner, and all that. So I'm hoping that this will help a little bit more. And also now that he's back to work too, we're kind of back on a regular schedule. I make dinner as soon as I get home from work, and then he gets home from work right after that. So we sit down and we have dinner together. Things I think are going to start falling in place more, but I am terrible about skipping meals. Terrible. And it has gotten really bad in this last year, where even on the days that I'm not filming or anything, then I just I don't feel like making dinner. I don't feel like doing this, but also I wasn't doing a good job of meal prepping either. So I was not having, those components ready when I get home from work, and I'm just tired and I don't want to make a whole meal. But now that I'm going back to the basics of my meal prepping, I feel like I'm going to have a lot of those issues are going to be solved, and I can stop skipping meals. But I know for sure for my body, skipping meals does not serve my body well. My body does not like to eat only, less than 1,200 calories a day. It likes to have the full shebang, and that's when I do my best, is when I get my protein in. I eat all my points. I even indulge in some of my weekly points. And that's when I do the best. So definitely skipping meals is not good. Unless, I know there's people who do intermittent fasting, and if that works for you, fabulous. I tried it and it did not work for me. I was never in a good headspace when I was doing intermittent fasting. It worked for me for a little bit, but then anything where I have to do major restrictions on myself, it puts me in a really negative, bad headspace. So if that works for you, great. But for me, eating 3 square meals a day and throwing in some snacks in there occasionally, that's what works for me. Those are definitely things that I did back in the day. So again, this is for me a good back to the basic tip. And tip number 5 for Weight Watchers success and going back to the basics is sticking to my meal plan. Again, I had a meal plan all the time where I knew what I had it listed out. This is what I'm having on Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. I had my meal plan listed out. Even though like usually either Friday or Saturday nights we would go out to dinner, that was on my meal plan, out to dinner. And that's what I stuck with. Even my family would know, like I would have it posted on the refrigerator, this is what we're having for dinner. And even still, my husband will ask sometimes, like, what are we having for dinner? Because he doesn't see a list anymore. Because honestly, I would say it's been a good 2 years that I have not created that sort of meal plan and stuck to it. So I am going to stick to my meal plan. I feel like it's really helps, especially if you are kind of restarting your journey like I am, or you're starting brand new out to a journey. Have the meal plan in there, because then you don't have to think and you don't make any really bad decisions on the fly. And if you're like me, I know tons of you, most of you that watch me, you do work outside the home. So for you, it's the same way. You get home from work and you have to make dinner. If you already know what you have to make, then you know if you have to take the meat out before you leave for work, which I'm notoriously bad about doing that. But if I have it posted somewhere and this is what I'm going to eat every single day of the week, that is what I'm going to do. So that's what I'm going to start doing on the days I pick up my groceries. So like Saturday, so like today I'm actually happen to be filming this on Saturday. I'm going to sit down tonight and I'm going to lay out what I'm eating every day for the rest of the week. And I'm going to try to do even breakfast, lunch, and dinner. But for sure, dinner is the one main thing that I like to make sure I get in there, just because I know what's going on at work. I know if I may be late. I know if I can come home for lunch, because sometimes if I come home for lunch, I can pre-prep some of those meals. And or if I forget to take the meat out, I can take it out. If I need to throw something in the crock pot, I throw it in the crock pot during lunch. So that's why I like to have it kind of laid out, and I can look at my work schedule and know what's going to work for me. But sticking to my meal plan is definitely something that helped me be 100% successful on Weight Watchers back then. Those are my 5 tips for Weight Watchers success and going back to the basics. Let me know in the comment section, do you guys have any tips to share? What helped and served you good when you were really, really doing great on your journey? If you're on maintenance mode right now, give us some tips, because you are the people that we want to talk to. You're the people that we want to know, how did you get there? What made you most successful? Leave in the comment section so we all can talk about it, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye guys.